All right, well, welcome to the webinar today. My name is Wesley Smith with treeservicedigital.com, and I'm super excited that you're here to learn about how to get ranked on the Google map in your service area for tree service contractors. This is specifically for tree service contractors, and it's really exciting to go through this because we've seen a number of our clients, pretty much all of them, who when ranked on the maps after a few months of tweaking and updating and doing everything with the Google Maps and Google My Business listing that needs to be done, they pop up in there in the top 3 pack of the maps in the local area for tree service searches, and it drastically transform your business into an inbound lead machine because people are doing searches for tree service, tree removal near me, tree companies near me all day, every day in your market and every market across the United States. So if you're up there and you're highly visible, we'll show you the statistics today of how many calls you can expect and how many percentage of the leads come to the Google Maps. So I'm super excited you're here. Thanks for joining us today. This will be recorded, so you will be able to see this later too, if you prefer. And there's a chat box on this webinar today. So if you have any questions, when we go through a couple of slides and maybe I pause for a minute or towards the end, I can answer any questions that you may have. Maybe you got a current situation with your Google map and you have a question, no problem. Happy to answer that. We usually get into that. But what we typically go through with our clients to kind of start this thing off is the digital dominance method. And Google Maps is an integral part of this. Number one is always going to be your local SEO, your website, your local SEO, meaning your Google My Business, your Google Maps. Number two is your Google Ads, pay-per-click marketing across the areas that you want to cover. Number three is your retargeting. So anybody that basically sees your website, sees your brand is going to end up seeing you again over and over with retargeting ads. Number four is paid online directories, which is Yelp, Yellow Pages, Angie's List, one of those sponsored ads in one of those directories. Repeat and referral business is big. If you do email marketing, if you're keeping up with a database of your clients after each job, after each estimate, things like that. Number six is pay per lead. So if the digital inbound services that we do or that any other digital agency does for you is not producing enough, then we always suggest some of the other lead providers like Home Advisor or Thumbtack, although we think direct mail works a little bit better in today's market, what we've seen so far with our clients. And then number seven is going to be social media advertising. So you can do Facebook, YouTube ads, things like that to bring in more leads. And then number eight, simply a referral program. So any of your current clients, you can offer them an incentive to refer business over to you, $100 gift card, tickets to the game, etc. Just have some sort of incentive-based program. So this is our digital dominance method, and it has proven true to really exponentially grow a tree service business anywhere across the United States if all of these things are implemented, and we help with all of these things. So we need your attention today. It just works best if you understand kind of what's going on. If you watch this and you really get something out of it, because it's going to help your business if you implement these things. But if you just kind of maybe turn off your cell phone, turn off Facebook, and just pay attention to this, it's really going to drastically help your business. But if you're serious about doubling or tripling the leads that you pull from your Google My Business listing, your Google Maps for tree service, then the next 20 to 30 minutes are going to be critical for you. Okay, I just want to show you a few things that we know works. It works very, very well. Here's what we're going to cover today. The latest updates with the Google Map listing, your Google My Business listing, the 5 biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking in the Google Maps, our proven model for ranking in the top 3 there in Google My Business, and the best tools to systematize and automate the heavy lifting so you don't have to do all this stuff manually yourself. That's one of the pains is, wow, I got to do all this work all the time consistently, keep my map listing ranked. Why the internet, maybe you ask? Like, is the internet that big of a deal? Well, there was a massive transition from offline to online over the past 15 years. And statistics tell us that more than 77% of consumers go online to a search platform like Google, Bing, or Yahoo when looking for tree services. And there's over 10 million searches every month for tree service, tree removal type searches. And you only need a small percentage of those in your local market to get plenty of leads coming in to go out and grow your business, to give estimates and grow your business. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I've been in the internet marketing space for close to 10 years now, the previous business and now with digital marketing and tree service digital. I'm the author of How to Win with Internet Marketing for Tree Service Contractors. Maybe you've seen the book. We've got a digital copy on Amazon Kindle, and we ship and mail these out to anybody who requests a copy. So if you want a copy, happy to send one of these out. Shoot an email to me if you want to, or message me on our social media pages. Happy to mail you a copy of our book. Specialize in tree service contractor internet marketing only. That's all we do day in and day out. We don't work with roofers. We don't work with attorneys, only tree service professionals. We're expert web development and digital marketing team, and we've worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of tree service contractors across the United States, and we know what works to generate a flood of new business. This is going to help you in your business increase your sales, enhance your online reputation, which is highly important if you want more calls coming in from the internet, drive more calls, leads, and profits for your business, and increase repeat and referral business from the people who basically already know your brand and want to send business your way, want to send referrals your way. So you might be asking a question to yourself, do Google Maps actually matter anymore? With all these paid platforms, with Google AdWords, Google Local, Google Guaranteed, Facebook, Instagram, etc., do Google Maps still matter? Well, unequivocally, yes, they matter a whole lot, because 45% of all clicks and calls, when somebody is on their phone, on a mobile device, and they do a search for tree service near me, tree removal companies near me, tree service Atlanta, wherever they're located, Google either knows that they're located in that local area by their IP address and the GPS on their phone, or the person types in the city after they do tree service search, right? So they know exactly where they're at. So they show them local results. Well, guess what they're going to click on 45%, almost half of the time. They're going to click on these maps, okay? And if you're in the top 3, that is like a billboard 24/7 sitting on Google for your business. People are going to see your business. So then it becomes even more important to have these reviews, make sure you've got a great reputation. And we've got a tool to help you do that. There's plenty of other third-party tools out there that help you get Google reviews to really enhance your reputation. That really increases your chances of getting those calls over the other people. But you can see that's highly visible in the local area, on your phone, on your mobile device, or even on a desktop for that matter. But statistics prove it's very, very important still. So yes, Google Maps do matter a whole lot. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what our current clients are getting in the Google Maps alone. And that's only like 1/3 of their leads. So it's affirmative. Google Maps drives tons of calls, and you can't just rely on pay-per-click alone. I suppose you could, but typically pay-per-click is going to be exhausted with the population size in your local area. So even if you're willing to travel 30 miles around where you work or around your office or your shop or whatever, you still won't be able to get as many leads as you want just from pay-per-click, typically because there's just not enough search volume and people clicking on the ads, because about 30 to 40% of people click on the ads, 30-40% of people click on the Google Maps, and then another 20%, 25% click on the organic listings below the maps. So you need to be in all 3 places. That's how you really dominate your local area. So the biggest changes in the last several years is Google Map listing reduced from 7 results on this kind of left-hand side of the page for maps down to only 3. So with only 3, now that's seriously important digital real estate, right? There's only 3 spots. So you got to have the best map listing. You have the most photos, you need to have the most reviews, you need to have the most words in your description. You need to be posting on your Google My Business listing, a lot of different activities. It's going to keep you up there, amongst other things too. Google is serving paid ads in the map results now too. So there's a little thing in your Google AdWords account now called location extension. And it basically shows your Google map as an ad in more local areas if you enable that and are willing to pay for that. Google Home Services is live in most major cities now, most major markets. So that really kind of helps too. And home services plus the Google Map is really where it's at if you want to really dominate. So it's the pay-per-click plus Google Maps plus organic rankings. Critical to complete the advanced verification process for the Google Guaranteed platform. That's a very good platform to be on. But see, here's kind of a visual what it used to look like. It used to have 7 results on this left-hand side of the page. This was several years ago, but just to kind of show you what it looks like now. Now you've got the Google Guaranteed here at the top. It's typically 3 boxes at the top with the Google Guaranteed badge there. And then right below that, you're going to see the traditional Google AdWords. Now it's called Google Ads for short. That does really work well too. But today we're going to focus on the Google Maps, which it generates usually about 40% to 45% of the local search clicks and leads. So you definitely want to be there. You know, it's like when you go fishing, you want multiple lines in the water when you're on the boat, because you're going to get a fish from each one of the lines. If you only got 1 line in the water, well, you're only going to get 1 fish. You got 5 lines in the water, you're probably going to get 4 or 5 fish. So it's the same thing with your online marketing. So it doesn't have this today. It's only 3. And that's why you want to be in the 3 packs. Here's kind of a bigger visual of that. You've got the top, which is your Google Guarantee, Google Local Services. And again, guys, this isn't going to be in every single market, but every major metropolitan area, like the tier 1 markets, for example, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, you know, et cetera. Big cities like that, they all have Google Local, Google Guaranteed. And then most of the tier 2 size cities, like maybe like Chattanooga, Columbus, Georgia, like areas with a couple 100,000 population, those have also got it typically in today's age. But the smaller, just little suburb areas, if it's right around and in proximity of the metro area of a large city, they're typically there too. So it's pretty important that you get in the Google Guaranteed and get verified in there. It's pretty big qualification process. I mean, I'll kind of show you the steps in the link to click on here in a minute. But below that's the traditional Google ads. You can see those right here. And so those are important too. And then here's the Google Maps. So you can see like it shows, a lot of people prefer to click on the maps. They feel like it's not an ad, it's not a link. Like there's just something in some people's heads that sometimes, push them towards the organic results like the maps or the organic website results below that. And then some people are compelled to click on the ads because they just want to solve a problem real quick, get an estimate for tree work, get it done. But there's just two different types of people online searching. There's these really scared, like paranoid folks that don't want to click on any ads. They just want to go to the maps. And there's people that just don't care. They just want to click on the first results at the top. So you want to be everywhere based on the fact that everybody's a little bit different in the way they search and the way they find what they need on the internet. So that's how it impacts the search results. The very, very top is a Google Home Service ads, which is a Google Local, Google Guaranteed, Google AdWords right below that, which is now called Google Ads. And then you've got the Google My Business right below that. And then you've got the organic right below that. So I can tell you, some of our clients have all of these things. They dominate for all the positions, and it just literally transforms your business into this just like tree service lead machine, because everybody's searching. If you're right there, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt, provided that you've got a good reputation on the internet. So here's how to sign up for local services. If you want to do that, you could simply Google search Google Home Services, Google Guaranteed if you want, and there'll be a link there to click on. But this is a link that we put together before the presentation today for you. So it's adwords.google.com/local services /sign up. It's kind of a long URL, so it might be easier if you just Google search Google Guaranteed, Google Local Services or something like that. So I'm trying to see if I can actually copy and paste it in the chat, but I don't think it would let me do it. I'd put it in the chat right there for you, but either way, it's fine. So if you have any questions about that, let me know towards the end and I'll see if I can grab it for you. So ask yourself this quick question: why is getting your Google map listing ranked important to you and your business? And you don't have to chat message or even ask any questions about that, but just write down, like, why would that be important for you and your business? Would maybe now you're getting 10 calls a month because you're not very visible on the internet, and you would love to get 50 calls a month because people keep finding your Google map listing and calling you and having you come out for estimates, and you're building your client base. Maybe that's the reason. It would help you build your business or help you be more visible in your local market. So there's no wrong answer there. Just ask yourself that question, why? And here's a couple of snapshots from a few of our clients from inside the Google My Business dashboard. There's a menu on the left, and one of them is called Insights. And if you click on that, it'll tell you over the last 30 days how many actions were taken on your specific Google My Business Google Map listing. So people click on it, people call, people go to your website. This particular client, the number one right here, and this was over the summer. This is a snapshot we took from a couple of months ago. They had 71 phone calls to their Google My Business listing. And keep in mind, some of these companies have a big name in the area, some of them don't, but some of them are more populated than others. Sometimes people are in a suburb, so maybe it generates 50 calls in the suburb. If you're right there in the top 3 in the map, sometimes it might only produce 20. And then sometimes like this one, it produces 71 because you're in a pretty populated area of 80 or 100,000, 200,000 residents in a certain area, and your map listing shows up for all those people's searches. So that's very powerful. That's 71 direct phone calls for tree service estimates that called in. They click the button to call on the Google map. You've probably done it too. Like you looked something up, you find the map listings and you click on one and it says call. You just press that button to call and it generates a live call to that business. That's what these 71 calls came from. They're all looking for tree service. They're all qualified tree service callers. And there could be a couple of spams in there, I guess, but these are pretty much all leads that came in. And then another 54 visited this client's website. So out of those 54 that clicked on the website link instead of the call now button, 54 people clicked on the link to the website. And once they get on the website, a pretty large percentage of those, at least half, probably called or they submitted the get a free estimate website form on the client's website. So that's a lot of leads for their Google My Business listing. You can see 71 calls plus or minus another 25 probably leads from the website from the Google My Business listings. That's 90 to 100 leads just off this one client's Google My Business listing. And we see this all the time. Here's another one that I took another picture of right here, screenshot. This one had 60 direct phone calls. And then another 66 clicked the website link to visit the website of this client on the Google My Business listing on Google Maps. And out of that 66, at least half of them, probably at least 30 to 40%, maybe half, were another lead. So they either called from the website or they filled out the get a free estimate form. So that's pretty powerful. That's 80, 90 leads on average from these two right here a month that come into their business. So if you got 2 crews, 3 crews, 4 crews looking to add more crews, getting ranked on the maps would matter a whole lot for keeping everybody busy. 10 critical elements to enhance conversion on your Google My Business listing. So once people find you there, you want to be the person that they click on and call. And one of the ways you can get there is, be in the home services, have a good reputation up there, because people kind of look at a few different spots sometimes before they actually call. They just want to make sure they don't see any dirt on you or see that you've got a 2-star rating or something like that, right? You don't want to have a very low rating. And if you do, that's okay. You can work on improving it. All you have to do is just start getting 5-star review after 5-star review, and it's going to pull up your average rating pretty quickly. If you get 10 5-star reviews in a row, and you can have friends and family vouch for you, previous clients vouch for you, go give you a review, that's going to pull it up drastically, especially if you only have a couple that's dragging you down on that, on the lower, rating. So that's what's going to help with your conversion, is getting your map listings, third-party listings, like being listed on Angie's List, Yelp, Facebook, Instagram, having reviews on those too. Organic listings. So you want different directory listings in your local area, weekly posting. So now there's a feature on your Google My Business listing where you can actually post on there. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. It's actually very powerful for that. So this is one of our clients in Albany, Georgia. And if you see right here, if you go down here, you'll see where you can post. See where it says Green Acres Tree Service on Google? Well, this is where you can post, and you can post as often as you want. You can do once a day. We typically do once per week, 4 times per month. That way they've always got a live posting sticking out in the news feed. It just keeps your business current, keeps it looking active, and it makes people compelled to want to click on it and give you a call. So those are very critical. Here's another one. This is the description area. So you can fill out the description inside the info tab of your Google My Business, and it shows up and displays right here. So the more content you have on your Google My Business listing, the more posting you do where you're updating your content on your Google My Business listing. Google loves that stuff. They like their own platform a whole lot. So if you kind of feed them what they want, you'll be one of the ones they feature up there. And then uploading photos all the time. So another thing is you want to constantly be putting photos in here. In this particular client, I think we've got over 100 photos in here by now. And a lot of these are geotagged, for the local area. So Albany, Georgia, tree service.jpg, and then you upload it. Albany, Georgia, land clearing.jpg, then you upload it. So geotagging the photos helps kind of solidify that you're the tree company in the local market too. And sometimes it'll show up in the images area on the Google search for your local area, which is good. So Google says, and I don't know if there's any way to prove the actual percentages, but it says that they've reduced fake Google map listings by 70% since 2015. And so what that means is for a long time, you could literally go to a UPS store, get an address, PO box, get an address, and then go to Google My Business and create a fake listing, right? You could create Atlanta Tree Service, right? And then just get a postcard, verified at UPS store, post office box. Now you got a listing in Atlanta. Then you could go to Marietta, Georgia, a suburb with a nice population. Get a Google My Business listing there, Marietta Tree Service, right? And get 10 of those around your city and just have calls coming in from those things, right? But they're not real business entities. It's just a lead generation Google My Business. Well, they've eliminated most of those. They can really find out if they're real business or not by just kind of looking around the internet. And so they say that they've actually reduced fake Google Map listings by 70% since 2015, which is great news if you're actually a real business, right? Because there's less results in the Google Maps to kind of muck up or muddy up the results in there. So there's not as many spam ones that are outranking the actual real local businesses. So that's good news. Whether or not that's accurate, I don't know, but I know that they have eliminated a lot of spam listings in there. So they're trying to make it a very relevant search platforms so people don't get upset with calling a company. It's not the company they think they're calling on the internet because the phone number is forwarded to a different company or something, right? So what could be hurting your rankings on the map? So maybe right now you're like, man, I've got to Google my business listing. It's verified. I've gotten the postcard. It's been up for probably, I don't know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, but I'm not showing up anywhere. Like when I do a search for my business, I can't find my business. And so that means, therefore, you know that clients and potential customers can't find your business either. So what could be hurting your rankings on the maps? Well, you need an office in the city that you're targeting to rank well on Google Maps. So UPS stores, post office boxes are against their terms of service and conditions now, Google My Business. You can still maybe get away with it here and there. You can get one done, but eventually Google will find it and they will suspend it. And then all the SEO work, all the photos, everything you've done for that thing is going to go to waste, right? So I just don't suggest it. You're better off getting a residential address in that area or a true business address. Those work fine because they're not on Google's radar to suspend. But all UPS store addresses, they've got a database of those now, and post office addresses, they've got databases of those. And so if you go to Google search the address that you're trying to get your Google My Business verified at, and there's multiple businesses verified at that same address, don't even try it because they're going to see that there's already multiple businesses at that address. Now, if there's a lot of suite numbers at that address and it's an actual building, you're going to be fine. But if it's a UPS store where there's 30 businesses on the maps at that UPS store, they just all got a different unit number or whatever for the box, they're going to end up suspending it. You know, we've learned this the hard way over the years. There's no reason to even go down that path anymore. It sometimes will stick. Did you try to spam Google with fake locations? Kind of what we just talked about a minute ago. Do you have inconsistent name, address, phone number on your profile? So sometimes you have your Google My Business listing there, but over the years, maybe you've moved, you've changed your phone number, you've changed your website address. And so there's inaccurate stuff on all these other listings like Angie's List, Facebook, Instagram, Better Business Bureau, Super Pages, White Pages, all those directories. So cleaning up those directories goes a long way too, because Google likes to see the same consistent name, address, phone number, website on all those directories, and they start pushing up your map listing with that too. So there's a lot of different variables. Did you spam your city and company name? So do you have, Johnson's Tree Service, Atlanta Tree Service afterwards, right? Are you trying to stuff the keyword of your city, Atlanta Tree Service, in the name of your business on the Google My Business profile? If you're trying to do that, that sometimes will hurt your rankings too. That used to work a little bit to some extent, but then they kind of started, either correcting the business name, and all of a sudden you would just see that it's Johnson's Tree Service and then Atlanta Tree Service afterwards not there anymore. Or they would just suspend it because they know that's not the business name. So make sure you're not trying to keyword stuff in the Google My Business listing. And I've seen it work. It's not like it doesn't work, but it's against their terms of service. So why go against them if they're going to just penalize you anyway? It's not worth the risk of getting it suspended because then you've got to start over again. It's not easy to get it back once it gets suspended. So do you have enough reviews across the web? So if your map listings are, your map rankings are down, make sure you try to go get some reviews. Those reviews play a major role in Google trusting your business brand name and knowing that you're a real business and you're getting true, real reviews across the internet. If you're getting reviews consistently on Google, on Facebook, on Angie's List, any of these other third-party platforms, they know you're a real business because you can't fake that many reviews. You know what I mean? So you want to just keep getting reviews. It really, really helps your business. That could be hurting your rankings on the maps and also the amount of calls that you're going to get. So here's our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack with Google. This is on your Google My Business map listing. So number 1 is going to be directory citations. So there's a lot of directories on the internet. There's yellowpages.com, bing.com, citysquares.com, dexknows.com, yellowpages.com, superpages.com, Yelp, Yext, yp.com. There's hundreds of them. And so you want to be listed in all of those. They're free directories, but it's tough to do all of that manually. So there's a bunch of service providers that'll do that for you, or we do that for our clients on our SEO package because it makes a big difference. So that's number 1. You want to be consistently in all those directories. Number 2, you want to get reviews consistently on your Google My Business listing, right? If you can get one of those a week, that goes a long way over the course of a year. That's 50 something reviews after a year. You're going to probably be beating out most everybody, right? And sometimes 30 is enough. But the more the merrier on that. And then on-page SEO. So on-page SEO is what's written on your website for search engine optimization. So I don't want to get too technical here, but SEO stands for search engine optimization. So if you have a website and you're trying to rank in Marietta, Georgia, right? Well, you're going to want Marietta, Georgia tree service type content on your website page, because that's going to tell Google what this website, what these pages are about. So when somebody searches for tree service Marietta, Georgia, you want your website to be featured up there at the top. Well, if you have the on-page SEO dialed in for your website, and a lot of people think websites aren't really that important, I beg to differ. Websites, SEO, and Google Maps make a huge difference in your business and inbound lead generation. People find you all the time. And so if you have the right wording and SEO type keywords and content on your website, Google picks up on that because your website is plugged into your Google My Business listing, your Google Maps, right? So when somebody clicks on that website link on your Google Map listing, your Google My Business, it's going to take them to your website, where your website's got all the same keywords: tree service Marietta, we do tree removals in Marietta, we're certified arborist around the Marietta, Georgia area, blah, blah, blah. And so if you got a bunch of content about that, your titles of your pages are correct, the paragraph headers are correct, and your Google My Business is also verified in Marietta, Georgia, right? You kind of follow what I'm saying? Like everything systematically, consistently about your local area and the services you offer, then they're going to rank your Google My Business listing higher as well. So there's a lot of different spokes on the wheel, but on-page SEO on your website makes a huge difference in your Google Map rankings as well. Number one, though, is just from the bare bones, you got to claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. So usually it's associated with your Google account, and your Google account's usually your Gmail, right? Most people would have a Gmail account of some sort. Even if you have like, john@xyztreeservice.com, you have domain email, you probably started off with a Gmail of some sort. So you usually have a Google account, and that's where your Google My Business listing is usually, basically that's where it lives. That's the account that it's connected to. So you want to update your company name to read your company name. Don't add any keywords on there. Add your website address, what we were just talking about. Make sure your website's in the info tab with your phone number, your address, all that stuff. This will create an important inbound link to your Google My Business listing. Use a local number. 800 numbers won't do the trick. Google likes to see a local phone number, works best. Use a local address. Again, if you don't have one, I would say any commercial address, any residential address, but do not use a PO box or UPS store. You don't want to go backwards and have it suspended down the road. Upload photos, and I mean as many as possible. And the easiest way to do this is, like, every job you're on, just take some photos with your cell phone. If you take 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10 photos per job, pretty soon you got 30, 50, 70, 80 photos, right? And you can just upload those to your Google My Business listing. Do it weekly, do it monthly, just continue to update it. Don't let it sit dormant for years and years. Do work on it, do some things to it, and you will outrank your competitor if you consistently do these things. Use personal photos too, like pictures of your crews, your trucks, your shirts, the tree work. Maybe take some videos. You can post those in there too with the photos. And just do that and get reviews on there, and list your hours of operations and your services offered in that info tab. So fill that out thoroughly, and the description and everything else. And so what you want to do is, once you get in there, you'll see on the left-hand side here, there's info tab. When you click on the info tab, you can add your phone number, your address, your hours, your services, all of that stuff. You want to fill it out. You don't want to leave all that stuff blank. Makes a big difference. And so if you want to add photos, you can just click on photos there, upload the photos. And then there's also insights. This is a little bit older picture. The insights now are on this left-hand side right here. I can show you here on this Google My Business listing right here. But if you're logged into your Google My Business listing and you're in there, this is the home. These are where you can do the posts that I was showing you. You can post once per week, something like that. Info is where you go to fill out your hours, your phone number, your website address. You can update different things in there. Services, description, all that stuff of your business. Reviews, that's where your reviews are, and you can respond and monitor those. And that's a great idea. Respond to the reviews you get. Thank you so much for your business. We appreciate the kind words, stuff like that. Here's where all your calls are: messages, photos, products, services, website users. And then you've also got this cool insights tab right here. So if you click on that, you can see this client right here has gotten 33 calls in the last month. And this is kind of slowing down in the fall too. So this was up like 50 or 60 just a couple of months ago. 11 website visitors. So you can just see, like, this is kind of how you navigate through your Google My Business listing. And so that's what it would look like there. So lots of good information in there you can get. Here's Google My Business best practices. As you just continually do business, it's just good to kind of, put activity up on there. So update your photos and add them on a consistent basis inside your Google My Business listing. Leverage Google Posts by posting at least once every month, right? You want to post at least once a month. I would say at least every 2 weeks is probably what you want to do. We do once a week, so 4 times per month to make sure it just stays super active and updated. Respond to your reviews. So if you get a negative review, and let's say you don't have a ton of reviews on there, if you get a negative review, make sure you go in there and kind of tell your side of the story. John, I'm really sorry that you had some damage to your yard. We offered to clean it up and fix it for you. Please call my office and we'll get that squared away. Those types of reactions to a negative post tells the potential customer, if they find you and see you, that, okay, this is a professional company. Maybe they did just, have a bad day and messed up the yard or something like that. But if you don't respond at all to any of the bad reviews, it kind of looks like maybe you don't care. So I would say it's a good idea to respond to those in a professional way, and then just try to get more and more and more positive reviews. Those just go a long way in keeping your average rating way up there. Answer questions that get posted. So sometimes people will ask a question on your Google My Business listing, and then also get consistent reviews as much as possible. And it's usually easier if you get a tool. Number 2 is build citations and consistency with name, address, phone number across all of these different directories. And here's where I'm going to show you the tool that you can use if you want to do it yourself, and just pay a third-party provider to do this. But you want your business listed, name, address, phone number, website in hundreds of these online directories. Really helps show your website higher and your Google Map listing higher than everybody else's. And just make sure it's all accurate too. Like if there's stuff that you need to update, just make sure you let them know you need to update this or update that. And they can actually do a scan of all the directories you're in and see which ones are inaccurate and not correct. And then you can basically just message that directory and say, hey, look, we need to update the address. Hey, look, we need to update the phone number to the website, whatever. And you want to limit the duplicate and incorrect business information. But this helps you really get a bunch. So pay attention to the aggregators too. Most of these providers will be plugged into these major aggregators. So when you submit your information in these directories, it'll go to like Factual, Info Group, Newstar, and those all basically feed into like 300 plus online directories. Really helps with your local SEO. But the best tools for this are going to be a couple of them. One of them is called Bright Local. You can do a search for Bright Local. That's a pretty good one. You can submit your business in there, see how many directories you're in, submit them in more. Whitespark is another one. Advice Local. Yext is very expensive. It's pretty expensive. You can try it. It's pretty good. It's pretty accurate, but it's very expensive. So in my opinion, some of these other tools are better just because of the price, and you get relatively the same value from them. So any of these will help you kind of get your directory squared away, get listed in a bunch of those places. And the best practice is manually claim and optimize your Google My Business. Use a tool like Yext or any of those other ones that we were just talking about, Bright Local, Whitespark, for direct API to 50 of the top citation listings. So those are like the big citations, the big directories you want to be in. It's like Yelp and Super Pages, White Pages, Yellow Pages. Like there's a bunch of different ones that are like the main ones. You definitely want to be in those. Apple Maps, stuff like that. Get listed in the major data aggregators, which if you're using one of those tools from the previous slide, they'll kind of plug into the major data aggregators anyway. And so leverage those tools that we were just talking about. And they'll also find niche listing stuff like tree service type niche directories. Those really, really help. We've got a lot of those too. And number 3, just make sure you consistently get Google reviews as often as possible. Those really, in my opinion, and I mean, just from the data that we collect from all of our clients, dozens and dozens across the country, the Google reviews are really the most important for ranking on the Google Maps in our experience. I mean, yeah, you want Facebook reviews, you want reviews on Angie's List if you have a platform with that, or you're paying for leads, Home Advisor, all those are important because Google My Business scans and sees all those reviews on all those social sites. So it is nice to have a few at least on all of those, and then Yelp, a couple other ones, but the Google My Business ones are really the most important. So just keep getting reviews, just keep asking, tell people it really helps out your business. We really need the review. Even if they just go leave a 5-star, they don't have to necessarily write anything on there, but just by having a review from a person that's from a different IP address, it doesn't look like a fake review. Google knows it's a real review. Just having somebody do that is very important. So here's a strategy for driving consistent reviews. So leverage tools to request a review after every service call. leave a review card, like, right, have a link to your review card and leave it with the client. Train your crews to plant the seed and deliver a world-class experience. Let them know, hey, we're going to send you a link on your text or your email. Would you mind giving us a review? It really, really helps us out. Make a call after the service to walk them through the review process. That helps too. That way, at least they know it's coming, right? They don't think it's a spam text or link. They know it's coming directly from your business. Build reviews and recognition into your company culture. That way, everybody's always asking for reviews, your crews, general manager, your office staff, everybody. And then here's some tools for review automation. Nearby Now is pretty good. Bird Eye works, Review Buzz, Customer Lobby, and there's several of them. Nearby Now is one of the more expensive, but it's got some SEO automation in there, so it's kind of cool. And then we also have one that we put out there, with Tree Service Digital. It's our own unique tool, helps you get Google reviews, and it follows up with people to get them. And then there's Service Titan as well. But here's kind of an on-page optimization. One of the things that you want to have there is, pull this thing out of the way. But in the footer of your website, you want to have your address. So whatever address your Google My Business listing was verified at, that's what you want to have on the footer of your website too. Google picks up on all that stuff because remember, your website's plugged into that Google My Business map listing. So you want to have that on there too, maybe a map of it. You want to have all that stuff listed on there as much as possible. So our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack for Google My Business, getting those directories done. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Probably get up to a minute here where we can do some question and answering if you want to. Our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack in the Google My Business is going to be those directory listings. So get with Bright Local, get with Whitespark or any of those other directories. Get listed in all those directories. That's number one. That really helps. And it takes a little while to get indexed in all those directories. So once you submit them, it may take a month, 2 months, 3 months for those things to index and get published online anyway. So you want to get that started as soon as possible. Get reviews consistently. This is something you can start from the first day your Google My Business listing gets established. The first day, you can start getting reviews just pretty much from anybody that can vouch for you, friends, family, whoever, and then customers afterwards, once you start getting a lot of customers coming in. And then last but not least, probably one of the most important is on-page SEO. So what's written on your website makes a big difference as to how your map listing ranks, right? So you want all the local keywords for your local area, the services you provide, all of that stuff. Because if you're ranked on page 1 with your website, and we'll go back to this example here, Green Acres Tree Service Albany. If you just go to Tree Service Albany, Georgia, and just kind of take a look, we're just kind of going to flow with this one. You can see they're number 1 in the maps, right? Number 1 organic map listing. And then their website is on page 1 as well. But look at what the title of the first page of the website is. Number 1 tree trimming and removal service, Albany, Georgia. Well, guess what? His map listing is verified in Albany, Georgia. He's got good reviews, great rating. So the phone number is the same. You see the website's plugged in right here. So if you click on this, well, guess what? That's his website. So this website URL, their website domain, is plugged in to the Google My Business. And so it's ranked on page 1 for all those Tree Service Albany keywords, tree removal Albany, all of that. You can kind of see the consistency here. The phone number is right here. Google notices that because it's in the Google My Business listing. And the title of the homepage is Tree Trimming and Removal Service Albany, Georgia. So that on-page SEO, all the words written, number 1 tree care services in Albany, Georgia, all the words that are written on the website are going to have a huge impact in how your Google My Business listing ranks up here in the top of the maps too. So it's not just one thing. There's a lot of different moving parts to it. And you want to make sure you have everything done really, really, correctly and accurately and thoroughly. And that's going to help you. That's going to drive a ton of business your way. And it's going to help you give a lot more estimates out there. Here's what our clients have to say. This is one of our clients out there in Brandon, Mississippi, Baroni's Tree Pros. David Baroni gave us a really good recommendation on our Facebook page. You can read it. It's we're very thankful for Tree Service Digital. Wesley Smith and his staff have always provided high quality customer service, and Tree Service Digital has brought Baroni's Tree Pros many, many customers. Wesley's service has helped us to receive a large amount of calls every single day. We're even booking 2 months out at the moment, currently ranking number 1 on Google in the areas that we cover. Thanks to Tree Service Digital, their campaigns have been successful in helping us reach out to many customers. A large percentage of our customers that contact us through our ads and click links are created by Tree Service Digital, and they end up booking with us and doing work with us. So Tree Service Digital is an excellent business. We highly recommend using their services. And I'll show you kind of what they look like too, if you care to see that. Like they're out there in Brandon, Mississippi. But it really, really just helps just bring in a ton of different business. Actually, I think I just messed that up. See, they're right here, the number 2 in the maps, number 1 organically right here. And they rank all over the place in all of their different local markets. So I can kind of show you that right here, like that's there, but they're ranking in lots and lots and lots of other markets too, because we've got a multi-city SEO. So let's look at Clinton, Mississippi. You can see they're number 1 organically in Clinton, Mississippi. I mean, we could do this. They've got 20 or so city locations that rank number 1, but that's one of our great clients. They've been with us for a couple of years now, doing really, really well. So we're to the point now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Like maybe you're having a Google My Business issue at the moment, or maybe your Google map listing is like stuck. You're like, man, I'm number 10, or I'm number 15, or I'm number 20 in the maps. I don't know why. I've done everything I can. If you have any questions about that, you can pop it in the chat. If not, that's perfectly fine too. We can always talk offline if you want to, or shoot me an email, shoot me a call. But we'll offer you a free online marketing plan review if you want. You can call our number, 770-637-3707. If it's something that you're interested in, maybe you want to get more calls coming in, you want your Google map listing to rank well. We'll do an analysis of your online visibility, where you're ranking, customer keywords of all the most important local area words, a ranking report showing you guys where you rank, where you show up, why you're not showing up, things like that. Analysis of your online directory listings. We can kind of scan them and see which ones you're listed in. Analysis of your online reviews and reputation. That's very, very important too, what we went over today. And analysis of your social presence, social media presence, analysis of your website conversion effectiveness, different things like that. Or you can schedule at treeservicedigital.com/schedule. You go to treeservicedigital.com. There's a contact form there if you wanted to talk. We'll go over all that stuff with you for free. There's going to be no sales pitch. We'll let you know what it would take to work with us if you're interested, but there's not going to be any like sales pitch or pressure of any kind like that. Does anybody have any questions? If you did, pop them in the chat and we can answer them there. They'll be anonymous. I mean, nobody will know that you're answering any or asking any questions there if you wanted to. If not, it's perfectly fine too. Maybe we answered all your questions today. But again, here's our digital dominance method. We went over this at the very, very beginning, but if you're showing up a little bit late, got 15 or 16 people on. So if you're showing up a little bit late, this is our digital dominance method right here. Number 1 is our SEO and website. Number 2 is your pay-per-click marketing. Number 3 is your retargeting. Number 4 is paid online directories, Yelp, Angie's List, things like that to get a sponsored listing over there. Repeat and referral business. Number 5 with your email, your customer database. Number 6 is pay-per-lead services like Home Advisor, Thumbtacks. If you're not doing enough, you're not getting enough business as it is, you can do pay-per-lead type stuff. Direct mail also works very well. We just added that service recently. It works very well for generating a lot of calls in local zip codes. Social media advertising, really, really good too. If you wanted to do that, it's good for retargeting mainly, but it works. And then referral program, you can pay your current customers $100 or Amazon gift card or tickets to the game or something for a referral. So again, we'll kind of end it here if you guys don't have any questions or whatnot. But if you want a free online marketing plan review of your tree service company, happy to help you. We do this all day, every day. So it's kind of second nature to us. And some of the things may not be sticking out in your head as to what's wrong or why it's not ranking or, you know, what you can do better. And we can certainly help you with that. I can help you with that. So if you wanted to talk about it, message me on our social media pages. You can go to treeservicedigital.com/schedule. Or you can just call our number, 770-637-3707. Of course, if you're calling right now, I'm not going to hear it because we're still doing the webinar, but I'll call you back shortly. And that's really it. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope you guys got some value out of how to rank on the Google Maps here in 2021. There's always little bitty tweaks and updates every year that Google puts out, different algorithm changes. So it's good to kind of update this once per year. And coming up pretty soon, we're in October. In December, we're going to have your 2022 tree service internet marketing plan, where we go over the entire digital dominance method right here and show you kind of all these different steps of how to implement everything, really dial in your local inbound internet marketing campaigns and just really dominate your local area. Be the big fish tree company in your local area. So I hope you guys got some value out of it. Hope you guys have a really great weekend. And until next time, we'll talk then. Thanks a lot.